Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. And a very warm welcome here to the Barony Hall at the University of Strathclyde for what's going to be a super celebration for our soon-to-be graduates and their families and friends. More about the graduates and their achievements later on this morning. This is always a great occasion. It's one of the highlights in our calendar. And you'll be having a very significant procession of students in the coming 45 minutes or so. And then I'll give you some reflections on the university's progress over the past year. Interesting for you, and for the students in particular this morning, we are celebrating this year our Golden Jubilee. Now, whilst having had our roots back in the Scottish Enlightenment, we've been an institution for over 200 years, we got our Royal Charter in 1964, so we're celebrating our 50th anniversary of receiving our charter as a university from Her Majesty the Queen. And we've had many celebrations, but this morning there's a special added piece of spice for our graduations, because our friends and colleagues at the Glasgow School of Art, in the spirit of friendship and collegiality that we enjoy here in the city and across Scotland, designed us a new cap for our graduates to be doffed by. Now, I'm going to be very careful I don't bruise either the students or the cap this morning, but it's worthwhile just reflecting the thought that went into the design and manufacture of this cap, because the actual ceremony itself of capping has its roots in over 2 millennia ago in ancient China, and another 1,000 years ago in the Arabic world, where the capping of an individual in many ways celebrated this rite of passage, this move into adulthood. And of course we've inherited these traditions in capping at the graduation ceremony. But it's worthwhile mentioning just a little bit about this, because 2 students and the head of one of the departments, who I will mention by name in a moment, took our values as a university about being bold, ambitious, innovative, imaginative, and last but not least, people-centric, and took that to heart in their design and production of this cap. They also, in this cap, have caught the essence of our crest of the university in terms of the formalities of what we represent. So I think they have very nicely celebrated the notion of us being an international technological university, as well as celebrating our traditions. And on behalf of several of our colleagues who are here today from the Glasgow School of Art, I would like them to take a message back to Professor Tom Innes, who is principal at the GSA. Our best wishes. I see Tom routinely. And we also, of course, wish our friends in GSA a speedy rebuilding and recovery of the aftermath of the terrible fire. But I think what we saw in the Glasgow School of Art and its friends and colleagues from across the city and indeed across the world, that they have indeed got on with their business and have just as much ambition and energy and high quality product in their students and the products of their research. So we say thank you to them and well done for their response to what was a challenging but ultimately a bonding experience. The 1 or 2 people I'd like to mention in particular, we have Stephen Cran here from the Fashion and Textiles unit that he leads, and very importantly we have Christopher Barton and Jonathan Douglas, who are here. These are the students who have designed the cap. So please join with me in saying a big thank you to our colleagues from the Glasgow School of Art. Now, being a graduation of the engineering faculty and being an engineer myself, I hope the quality kite mark has been passed, because the cap that it replaces, I estimate, probably capped about 120,000 students. So I don't know if I get a guarantee with this cap, but we may have to do maybe a 100,000 mile service on it, but we may re-engage the GSA colleagues to do that with us. Anyway, many thanks for this, and it will be used in earnest very shortly. So, colleagues, with that, let me now formally declare this congregation open, and I'd like to invite our Executive Dean of Engineering, Professor Attila Insacek, to start the process. Thank you.
Vice Chancellor, in the name of the University and by the authority of Senate, I present to you these students. For the degree of Doctor of Engineering, for research in the Department of Biomedical Engineering, Martin MacDonald. Richard Charles Pinnell. Robert Tamali Sikito Liko. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, for research in the Department of Architecture, Claire Ann Hyland. For research in the Department of Biomedical Engineering, Anita Manar Chan. Philip Carroll Smith. Subraya Soresh. For research in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, Shanine Marie McCluskey. Andrew Pape. For research in the Department of Design, Manufacture and Engineering Management, Mihail Gizil. Farida Binti Mustafa Bakri. Nora Azima Binti Nurdin. For the degree of Master of Research in Biomedical Engineering, Cheryl Gavind. Gwen Lian Filirtovi. In Medical Technology, Robert James McFarlane. For the degree of Master of Science in Urban Design, Siti Anis Binti Abdullah. Sen Chen. Christina Condi. Kieran Andrew Higgins. Osman Hassan Halifa Osman. Francesca Pell. Sean David Staben. In Biomedical Engineering, Claudio Accarino. Peter Christopher Canning Anderson. Andre Otort. Peter Bilshu. Megan Barbara Clark. Raquel Gutierrez Fernandez. Kandar Koshal Previn Chandra. Komaris Dimitrios Sokratis. Daniel Mandotorito. Celine Pestiglioni. Nadira Abdi Salah. Mark Robert Sprott. Georgia Tarfeli. Laurent Ale Gerda Shishlein Van Eyck. In medical devices, Mazin Nadir Farhan. Yaya Zakaria Yaya. In environmental engineering, Adam John Hines. Daniel John McCormick. Alexander Scott McGregor. Yvonne McKinnon. Catherine Ailey Marshall. Karen Jane Miller. Christine Ogeki Nawachukwu. Anna Elizabeth Radley. Fraser Douglas Russell. Odiwademi Lola Esther Shock. David Sykes. In environmental entrepreneurship, Neil Andrew Cochrane. Eva Maria Fernandez Moran. Vasiliki Karajay Orgi. Ross William Murray. Nicholas Sofianopoulos. In civil engineering, Rustem Gabitov. In civil engineering with geotechnical engineering and project management, Olga Natalia Joansu. Cassidy Joe Lewis. Scott Callum Mackenzie. Manuel Masbach. Massimiliano Parenti. In civil engineering with structural engineering and project management, Kyle William McVeigh. Julian Rasser. In geotechnics, Graham Joseph McHenry. In environmental health, Kiera Giella. Jerin Shammi Rahman Khan. Evangelos Nanatampoulos. Katerina Sarnikova. Erin Amanda Smith. Ili Nadera binti Teoduddin. Nur Rashida Nazura binti Yahya. In sustainability and environmental studies, Obina Ilahanacho Anyanbo. Stephen Britton. Scott Fraser Bryson. Karen Margaret Elizabeth Leakey. Laura McIntyre. Craig George Prentice. Alison Shand. In hydrogeology, Ross Clark. Jonathan David Dunn. Jamie Melville. Kirsty Margaret Shorter. Lisa Maria Wild. In Mechatronics and Automation, John Olamide Doratifa Babatonde. Phil Barclay Sunderson. In Operations Management in Engineering, Richard Harvey. In Supply Chain and Operations Management, Imran Ahmed Abbasi. Hilal Hamed Rashid Al-Harthi. Emmanuel Andre Henri Schneila. Vikram Surikonte Ramakrishnapa Gavda. Shongwi Lee. In Supply Chain and Logistic Management, Yani Anson Kran. Prangvipa Dongraksa. Kirsty Ann Franks. Sajai Sanjeev George. Ganesh Gree. Paul McInnes. Pompavi Picharen. Takenkon Potibor Tong. Nichpun Saksanit. Tangchai Watanagarum. In Supply Chain and Procurement Management, Nasser Süleyman Hamdan Al-Harti. Anya Falk. Gong Long Long. Lindsay Sarah Gordon. Siti Dordiana bint Haruanas. Danielle McBride. In Global Innovation Management, Hamburg, Peter Shin-Shi Nam. In Global Innovation Management, Swinburne, Patrick Benjamin Hempel. In Lean Six Sigma for Process Excellence, Lokesh Shachidananda Jaitan. Jijo John. Stephen John Mulheron. Philippa May Sides. Dara Woods. In product engineering design, Craig Carrigan. Alexander Frederick Holleman. In advanced manufacturing, technology and systems, Zulfigar Ahmad. Gordon Bamford. Claire Ann Drennan. William Francis Noon. Trifon Rutulas. In advanced manufacturing, forging and forming, Gavin Ireland. In sustainable engineering, sustainable product development, Quentin Young. For the degree of Master of Architecture in Advanced Architectural Design, Mohammed Shazvi bin Zolkifli. Alistair James Blair. Jenna Victoria Campbell. Cherish Chiridiu. Kiryaki Chiridu. Paulina Christoforidou. Emily Mary Cunningham. Statislava Stoyanova Viliva. Andrew McDowell Frame. Halim Kuryawan. Susanna Kwong. Lo Wei Fong. Lindsay Patricia MacDonald. Siobhan McGill. Fraser Allen Maitland. J. Nicholas Mexis. Nadira binti Mohammed Johari. Francis Joshua Murphy. Stuart Thomas Haney Rainey. Angus James Ritchie. Scott Graham Simpson. Sue Jo Wei. Emily Seffen. Swan Sim Tan. Daniel Allen Tyler. Christopher Witherspoon. David Daniel Wiley. For the degree of Bachelor of Engineering in Structural and Architectural Engineering, William Hall. Andrew David William Steele. In Civil Engineering, Ross Andrew Burns. Jennifer Murphy Dorward. Mark Gerard Pussy. Shahbaz Khan. Craig Wallace. In Product Design Engineering, Alan Gibson. In Sports Engineering, Sean Gavin Byrne Griffin. Russell Greenaway Lawson. Stuart White. In Engineering Studies, Fraser Robertson. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Architectural Studies, Fu Sik Weng. Winnie Lim Wei Jin. Yo Bao Yin Jamie. Hannah Abigail Thomas. For the postgraduate diploma in Advanced Architectural Design, Alan William Cameron. Stefano Giordano. Lucy Sarah Gray. Mohammed Hanis Wizi bin Mohammed Salih. Alexandra Shalmina. In Advanced Architectural Studies, Jose Francisco Reyes Cula. In Environmental Entrepreneurship, Cristelle Kitenge. For the degree of Master of Science in Civil Engineering, Yang Kin Yang. In Product Engineering Design, Muhtar Hafiz. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy for research in the Department of Biomedical Engineering, Ahmed Abubakar Balwazir.
What a high-quality cap. Fantastic. What a great job it did. I think I destroyed quite a few hairstyles as well, so thank you, keeping up the tradition. Anyway, let me once again extend a very warm and sincere welcome to all of you here at our graduation ceremony. On behalf of the university, I would like to congratulate every one of today's graduates on their awards. And today, we welcome visitors from all over the world, and we are particularly delighted to see you here today to join in the celebrations. And as you've seen, the degrees ceremonies are all about the conferment of acknowledgements, degrees recognising achievements, but they can also be viewed as a bridge between the past and the future. And today, graduates, marks your personal transition from student to graduate, and at the beginning of a very exciting phase of your lives. Your education is built on a foundation representing the work of generations of scholars, including much that continues to be informed by Strathclyde's research thinking and contributions. And as you move forward in your careers, you will make your own discoveries, just as Strathclyde academics are doing today, exploring new research questions and pushing forward the frontiers of learning. And the sense of the future rooted in the past is one of the strengths of our system. And in our ceremony today, we have reflected just that. We talked at the start of the ceremony about the historical connection in the capping ceremony. And I have to say, as presiding officer, it's an honour for me to perform the simple but ancient ritual of capping. And for each of you, when this fine new cap touched your head, it was formal recognition before your family, your friends, and your lecturers of your hard work, the days spent in laboratories and lecture theatres, the nights in the library, and of course the ordeal of your examinations. It is a symbol that you've become part of a community, doctors of philosophy, masters and bachelor's graduates, linked across the generations through the pursuit of knowledge. And today you are indeed now fully fledged Strathclyders. And with all of that, I know that you would agree that your successes would not have been possible without the support and encouragement of your families and friends. It is important that we acknowledge their part in the successful completion of your university studies. Our graduates and the university at large owe them a great debt of gratitude for all their important contributions. As the first in my own family to have attended university, as it happens here at the Faculty of Engineering's Electrical Engineering Department, I know the importance of such support, and I'm sure that today's graduates and all of our university staff would like to take the opportunity to thank the families, friends and supporters for all that they've done to make today possible. Thank you very much. And for our academic staff too, this is a very important day because ultimately your success is their reward. Strathclyde has sought to provide you with a high-quality education and a first-class university experience for all of our students, regardless of background. And I hope that you all feel that in your own case, we have achieved precisely what we set out to do. So let me now invite our new graduates to join with me in thanking our staff for all that they've done to support you in your achievements. Since our foundation in 1796 and throughout our history, the University of Strathclyde has remained faithful to our founding principles, including, and I quote, that we were established for the benefit of mankind. It is worth noting that we were the only higher education institution established in Scotland during the time of the Enlightenment. And we are now driving forward our Reforged strategy in that same spirit of challenge, excitement, contribution, and making it relevant here for the 21st century. Our founder, Professor John Anderson, who was a physicist or natural philosopher, as it would have been called, had strong links with Benjamin Franklin, the American inventor and academic, who himself founded the University of Pennsylvania in 1751 with the motto of useful knowledge. And this directly influenced John Anderson and resonates beautifully with Strathclyde's motto of useful learning. And never has this philosophy been so relevant since our establishment some 218 years ago. And the motto, known by all of our staff and students, still defines our purpose as a leading international technological university. Across our campus and in the buildings that you'll have passed today on your way to the Barony Hall, our academics and students are developing drugs to fight disease and illness. They are producing technologies and policy solutions to tackle climate change, while establishing a low-carbon economy and revolutionising global manufacturing. They continue their work in Africa to establish power and water supplies in remote villages and to contribute to education. They are bringing prosthetic limb technologies to those in need in India. Many are working to inform public policy and national economic strategy. They are providing people with opportunities to transform their lives and the lives of their families. As I referenced earlier, we still attract many first-generation university students to Strathclyde, and we're very proud of that. And finally, we are giving business and industry the tools that they need to be more innovative, to promote economic growth, to create jobs, and to provide us with a sustainable, healthy, high quality of life. And importantly, in this year in particular, as well as our Golden Jubilee, you should be doubly proud to be graduating from Strathclyde, as we are currently the UK Entrepreneurial University of the Year. We were delighted to receive that national award this time last year from the Times Higher Education organisation, and that built on the previous year's accolade as the UK University of the Year, the first Scottish university to receive such recognition. And in respect of my colleagues' great achievements, only this year, again, it was a Leadership and Management Award from the Times Higher Education activity. We got an award for our business-focused activities around entrepreneurship, an organisation called Interface, which looks after Scotland's universities' engagement with business, presented us as Scotland's top university for research partnership, and we received the Inspiring Glasgow Awards medal for industry and business. So, lots going on, and much of it entirely relevant to our founder's purpose of useful learning. So Strathclyde is demonstrating its ability to have disproportionate impacts through the production, first and foremost, of our excellent graduates and postgraduates, the quality of our research, and the highly effective means that we've developed for the exchange of our knowledge with both industry and public sector partners. And it is clear, palpably clear, that the Scottish higher education sector is fulfilling its responsibility as a driver of sustainable economic growth, and Strathclyde has a distinct role in this national and international objective. It is right that universities should be seen as a national investment, not a cost. With an annual investment of around $1.1 billion in our sector, the sector delivers back around $6.7 billion worth of value to the Scottish economy every year. In an independent review of Strathclyde University earlier this year, our own university was expected to deliver an additional contribution to economic value to the Scottish economy of over £1.4 billion in the next 8 years, one of the highest contributions in the sector and fitting for a leading international technological university. And we are well engaged with the need for our universities to contribute to society through our teachers, through our biotechnologists, through our policy makers, through our lawyers, as well as our engineers and scientists. And that comes through our high-quality education, research and innovation programmes. And certainly, the achievements of our students and staff in the Faculty of Engineering over the last year gives me great confidence for the future. And let me give you a curtailed and rather truncated list of achievements, because this faculty is really knocking the ball out the park. They're doing a fantastic job. So, just down the road in George Street, you see this great monolith that sprung up, our Technology and Innovation Centre. Around £100 million worth of investment. We'll have a launch with what will be our very new First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, in December, followed by a full building launch in June next year by a very senior member of the establishment in the UK. That has been built on the principles of research, education, satisfying and working with business and industry. Thomas Edison created what he called the Inventions Factory. I think that's going to be our Innovations Factory. He also had, perhaps it wasn't a good health and safety approach, that he had his Insomnia Squad, which was his engineers and scientists. I think we'll let our people have a nap now and again, but we're taking that same drive, that same exciting view of the 21st century and positioning ourselves very firmly in that space. We are the cornerstone partner of the UK Government's Catapult Centre for Offshore Renewable Energy. That's around about a £50 million investment to try and drive the costs out of offshore wind installation, to try and build industry here in the UK, but also tackle the low-carbon economy challenges. And we're also a core partner in the Catapult Centre for High-Value Manufacturing, led out of our Department of Design, Manufacturing and Engineering Management, built now some 6,000 square metres of applied research facility out at the airport. This is revolutionising aerospace manufacturing and now moving to address automotive and energy applications. Very exciting developments. In June, not long before David Willett stood down as Science Minister, he announced that the University of Strathclyde and the University of Surrey were given the responsibility, along with the Department of Business, Innovation and Skills, to take the National Physical Laboratories in Teddington, some 550 scientists and around 250 technicians and support staff, and drive it forward as a major global expert hub around metrology, measurement, materials and quantum technology. This gives you some sense of Strathclyde's positioning now. Over the past 5 years, we've accelerated that role. So we're looking at quantum technologies, bio-nanotechnologies, but some of you, particularly with references to the remembrance we had earlier on, you may remember the bouncing bombs that were designed during the Second World War. The National Physical Laboratories was the place where that was developed, tested and designed. We've got very much more pacifist approaches to the technology down there now, but the NPL activities that we'll be involved in will accelerate our mission in terms of global impact for our research. Also in June, we launched our new Oil and Gas Institute. This is a new programme dedicated to supporting oil and gas sector, looking at asset management, and you'll understand Sir Ian Wood's reports, one on skills, one on the UK continental shelf earlier in the year. There are some 24 billion barrels of oil yet to be recovered, and Strathclyde is looking at enhancing and optimising how that might be done in a sustainable and appropriate way. And it's also important for you to know that we've recently joined the Scottish Carbon Capture and Storage Partnership, the largest partnership of its kind. So hydrocarbons, the capture of hydrocarbon or CO2 and renewables, we take a very broad-based approach to energy and technology. From our students' perspective, we were delighted this year in the National Student Survey that our overall student satisfaction rate rose to 89%. And we are pushing on in partnership with our students to make sure that rises year on year. It's a great barometer for how our students have appreciated their experience here. Our university was ranked first in the UK for medical technology in the Complete University Guide. Strathclyde has also received funding for 3 new UK-wide centres for doctoral training in medical devices and health technologies, in marine and wind energy systems, and in future power and grid systems. That's around 250 PhD students coming in those programmes alone, which again talks about our research intensity and our focus on key global challenges. In addition to this, the Engineering Academy was launched in partnership with the colleges around Glasgow and further afield with Forth Valley and now Ayrshire. We've launched a new programme that's taking in around 100 students per annum from areas of MD20, MD40, areas that have socioeconomic challenges, and accelerating these young men and women's opportunity to come through college and get into university. And Strathclyde is living on its DNA credentials, where we were always built around this opportunity to open the doors of universities, and the concept of widening access is something that in Strathclyde in many ways have defined over recent decades. We're also supporting the Construction Scotland Innovation Centre with 10 other universities, and our staff are doing a fantastic job. Professor Becky Lunn, Head of the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, was named a Fellow of the Royal Society of Edinburgh. Professor Bill Ion, who is here with us today, received the KTP Academic Ambassador Award from the Department of Business, Innovation and Skills, recognising him as a UK lead in knowledge transfer since the mid-1990s. One of our tutors in architecture, Michael Dougal, became at the age of 30 the youngest president of the Glasgow Institute of Architects. Our researcher, Graham Robertson, in biomedical engineering, won the Gold Award at the Set for Britain poster competition at Westminster. Fantastic example of our students' contributions as well. And I could have gone on at greater length, but we won't given the time. But be aware that the departments, particularly those that are being represented today through our students graduating, are doing a fantastic job and are seen amongst the best, not only in the UK, but across the globe. So, to my graduates, this is the exciting context within which you should view your awards. You are now graduates of a university that clearly places students at the heart of all that we do, that values education and research excellence. These things should be tightly coupled, and that supports close connections with society at large and the business world. And with regard to internationalisation, the best universities contribute, collaborate and compete on the international stage, and we are no different. And as an example of developments through the past year, we have strengthened our programme of global engagements with world-class institutions, including in the United States, Stanford, where I'll be in about 4 weeks' time, New York University, where we have a major research and knowledge exchange partnership, MIT in pharmaceutical manufacturing, and Carnegie Mellon in energy systems. In China, we work with Tsinghua and Peking universities, Tianjin University and the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, the #1 university in Asia. In Singapore, our partners are Nanyang Technological University and the National University of Singapore, and in Japan, Tokyo and Kyoto. We have around 250 relationships around the globe, but these that I've mentioned are deep collaborations on research and teaching, and that is great for our students, because our students benefit directly from being part of an international institution, emerging with the skills necessary to help Scotland play its full part in the world. And our students will have been exposed to different cultures and traditions as we attract students from more than 100 countries. But importantly, they leave here understanding their obligations as global citizens. However, as well as driving our global impact, we also take our local responsibilities very seriously. We've been a leader over the past 3 years, and it's been my privilege to chair the Glasgow Economic Leadership Board, seeking to galvanise and rebuild the Glasgow economic strengths in key sectors of advanced engineering, low-carbon technologies, life sciences, finance and business, as well as tourism and events. With an ambitious agenda for the city, we've been right behind the city winning this fantastic new city deal of some £1.2 billion, taken from the UK government and the Holyrood government. So you're going to see some major investments, and a lot of it is going to be spent on innovation and creating high-value jobs, many of which will be taken up by graduates from Strathclyde University. We remain with some pride the leading Scottish research-intensive university for widening access to our programmes for students. At over 12% of our new entrants each year, for some of the most challenged communities in Scotland, this defines our mission also. And earlier this year in this very hall, I was announced as the Chancellor of the Children's University, which was a great treat for me, where we had some 80 youngsters aged 7 to 12 years of age from pretty challenging areas of Glasgow in this hall with their parents, many of whom had never set foot in a university before. And these youngsters graduated. They each get a learning passport. And when they go to the Kelvin Grove Art Galleries or the Glasgow Science Centre or a lecture here at the university, they get their passport stamped. And when their passport is full, they become bachelors of the Children's University. I was particularly looking forward to that graduation ceremony because it was one of the few ceremonies where I was hoping to look tall on the stage. I got that one wrong. Have you seen the size of 12-year-olds these days? It was quite a disappointment for me, but it was a joyous occasion for us to engage right down at the primary school level with families that can build their ambition for themselves and for their youngsters. So, if I characterise Strathclyde in 2014, I would describe us as having ambition, focus and momentum, with the agility and commitment to the delivery of our strategy so necessary to absorb many of the continuing uncertainties in our sector that we face week on week, month on month. And as a sector, we have much to offer in terms of our contribution to economy, to social justice, and indeed the international profiling of Scotland. So it's a privilege for me to lead this great institution with the superb support I get from my executive team, my staff at large, support staff, and indeed the students. And I believe strongly that our founder, John Anderson, would recognise precisely what we are doing today as the realisation of what he sought to achieve during the Enlightenment. So Strathclyde now seeks in the 21st century to be an agent for positive change here in our city, in Scotland, in UK and the international scene. And most importantly, graduates, I am certain today that we will build tomorrow's world with the people that leave this hall today, and that 2014 can genuinely become a vintage year. So in this context, and as you leave the hall today, you leave not just with an award, but with a responsibility. Today's graduates now join our alumni, who number some 170,000 around the world. So whatever you do with your degree, and wherever you may choose to work, remember that as well as academic scholarship, universal activities and useful learning also means applying your knowledge for the benefit of others, making a positive impact for yourselves and importantly for the communities that you belong to, respecting diverse views, acknowledging freedom of expression and thought, and reaching conclusions and resolving disputes by reason. These characterise the very core values of your university. So, let me return to today's celebration. We are all here to mark achievements of those receiving awards. So, finally, on behalf of the university, let me extend my sincere congratulations to you all and wish you every success in your future careers. Well done, and please enjoy the rest of this very special day. Thank you. So just as we close, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this as much as the staff has. I've been giving the indication that the weather is acceptable, and I would like to invite you all to the Lord Todd Hall, which is about 100 yards as you come out of the hall, past to the right, where there'll be refreshments, and there'll be a chance for us to meet with some of you and meet with some of our new graduates. So thank you all for being here, and I would now ask you to be upstanding as I now declare the ceremony formally closed. Thank you.